Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, and during the month of April, I like to read poetry. I read poetry all through the year, but I especially like to read it aloud during April. Try to make sure I spend some time every day reading some poetry. And in the month of this April, I've decided that I would read speeches and monologues from Shakespeare's plays. Today is the final day, so I hope you've enjoyed National Poetry Month. I hope that you will read poetry throughout the year and not just in April, but the more you read poetry, the better you get at it. If you read it aloud, it makes more sense. So I urge you to sort of keep up with your poetry readings. There's lots of stuff on the internet. You can YouTube just about any poet or poem, and there are people, reciting poems online, and you can really start to get an ear for poetry that way. And of course, if you read it aloud, you yourself will develop an ear. Sort of like learning how to ride a bike or play a musical instrument. It takes some time, but once you've done it, it will have plenty of rewards. So today's final monologue is from the play Macbeth. This is uttered by Macbeth himself. Things are now falling apart, right? So he had killed his way to become the king of Scotland. He is now the king, but he is, his world is falling apart, and he realizes that. And this has the famous words, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in his petty pace from day to day. So there's a bunch of stuff in here, a bunch of phrases that get used by other authors as titles of their works. So I figured I would end with this particular monologue of Macbeth's. I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir, and life were in it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry? She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So Macbeth, reflecting on how his stuff is basically turned to dust. He's now sort of facing his final battle, and it's getting on his nerves, and we get this monologue. So again, I urge you, read poetry a lot, read it aloud, so find a place where you can read stuff aloud. Start to hear the words, start to hear the rhythm, start to really feel and taste those words in your mouth. I think you'll enjoy poetry a lot more, and the more you enjoy poetry, the better you get, but also I think the better poets get. So living poets really want to get through to you, and the more attuned you are to what they're doing, the better they get. Just like a theater audience, a receptive audience can bring out a lot in a play or on the stage, and an audience that is resistant can make it really tough for the people on the stage to do their job. So, hope you've enjoyed National Poetry Month, and I urge you to read poetry every day.